what are the rules around how you fund campaigns? Why is it that it is easy for our governors, in particular, to spend state resources? I mean, those convoys, at least that we can see, they are state resources, and then there are claims that they even spend government money on campaigns. What does the law say, Ibrahim?
So thank you for this germane question. Indeed, to start, it is condemnable, saying that state resources of that nature, are being pulled towards electoral satisfaction. But yes, the Electoral Act actually provides funding provisions that seek to regulate or that regulate some of these excesses or a lot of these excesses. For example, if you look at Section 99, subsection 2, it is very clear of the Electoral Act of 2026, it is very clear that no state apparatus shall be used for any political candidate or any political party activities. Now, how do you define state apparatus? So when they say that state apparatus should not be used, basically anything that is connected with the state, anything that is for the state and of the state shall not be used whatsoever in any elections for any candidate or any political party. So
our laws, is that clear?
It's clear to that extent. So where you find governors of a political party or the ruling party or governors of other states, using their official convoys, going with their official officers who are being paid from the coffers of the state, and they are there to also lend their hands because they will go with their essays, with their PAs, who are actually part of the apparatus that the state provides them for their respective offices. They go, and then, just like you say, they even fund these campaigns. And Section 96 of that same law says that, okay, after every elections, political parties, have to, and it's a must, make disclosures as to, their campaign funding and their campaign excesses. I think it is in the failure to actually hold them to this post-election account, that leads to all of these, excesses. But yes, the law, to some extent, tries to regulate, the financing of the political party, how much an individual can, INEC has, the power to say, okay, this is how much an individual can donate, and, donations over certain, thresholds must be made public, they must be disclosed so that, INEC can trace and track, also to ensure that, state apparatus is not being used. But, regarding your particular question, I think it is highly condemnable. It is also against the law, for any state official whatsoever, be it governors, senators, whatever it is, to go to or to use any state apparatus or any state, institution or any state machinery or state funding to promote elections for an individual or for a political party. So I believe that, that acts of convergence, because you see them with their official cars, with their official security. It's so difficult for state governors to leave their state to another state or to, in fact, prosecute elections in their state as it is, to say that, okay, you are not in breach of this particular law because you go with your security officials. And if you look at it, you would even ask, okay, who is even funding the trip to begin with? Maybe, they are being paid from the state, ESTA codes and all these things. So it's wrapped in, proper state regalia, but then it is, geared towards the satisfaction of a political party or a political candidate, which is in direct contrast with the law. So I believe that it is condemnable and it is against the law, and I believe it's a concern worthy of being raised and being addressed critically.